right, and then there are all the other tests that the Ohio Means Jobs have. And have you read it? I would think before you came on last week, I was telling Tanya that there was article was on, I think it was on the Sirius I was listening to on in the car on the radio about how ACT tests or any kind of
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
entrance are not being required by some universities now.
So I looked into that a little bit more, and it's more like there is an option to submit an alternate assessment to them. So it's not really that they're not requiring it, just you have an option to do something different if you want. So it sounds like for 99% of the people, unless you've done something outstanding, the ACT is going to still be a requirement. Now, for someone that has reached national level recognition in sports or the arts, someone that has, you know, they're 17 and they created their multi-million-dollar company like you see on Shark Tank, they are probably not going to need their ACT score to get accepted. But for most of our kids, the ACT or the SAT is still going to be their pathway to get into college. And even the military, what a lot of students don't know, because in Ohio, all students are required or strongly encouraged to take, with very few exceptions, to take the ACT test. And what some students don't understand, actually, I think what a lot of students and parents don't understand, is that score most certainly can help you in college, but it can also help you if you're going into the military, and even literally if you're going into truck driving school. Having that ACT score can help you out, can cut your time that you're going to be spending and reduce the amount of money you're going to be spending in some of the trade schools and two-year colleges. And if you're going into the military, it actually can get you an immediate increase in pay if you scored well enough on the ACT. And it also helps get you into the career choice that you want. Because, you know, if you're going into the military, you know, you get a chance to request the career you want, but you aren't guaranteed it. You know, they're going to be giving you tests and assessments and looking at your grades and looking at your ACT score to help decide, especially in those competitive areas, you know, the areas where, you know, a lot of students want to get in, the students that want to get into the computer end of things, the electronics, the programming, the robotics, the flight schools, you know, the aviation related careers in the military. All of those are very, very competitive. And if you have a strong ACT score, it's going to help you get accepted to that. So if I talk a little bit more about ACT, so that's one of the reasons. But for the college bound, I mean, that's the traditional, this is why take the ACT. And let me bring up a couple slides here, if I can do that. Share my screen, maybe. And I don't have a ton of them. Let's make that a little bit larger. There we go. So just some basics, refresher. You probably all know this as I say it. You're going to say, oh yeah, I knew that. But you can score from 1 to 36 in English, reading, math, and science. There's an optional writing test you can take. And the average score is just under 20 points. So if you score 20, yeah, you're doing, you know, average. But here's where it gets really interesting, at least to me. If you can increase that score just a little bit. So at 18, a score of 18, you're probably going to be admitted to most of your state colleges, many of your less competitive private colleges, certainly two-year colleges. A score of 18 is going to get you in. You might get in with a 15, 16, 17, but an 18 almost, not quite, but almost guarantees your acceptance. at most universities that kids go to. Ohio State, they have a higher standard for most of their degree programs. Harvard and so forth, their requirements are much higher. And certain specialty programs, like if you're going into a medically related program and so forth, they're going to have higher scores. But in general, 18 will get you in, but it's not going to get you a scholarship. It's not going to get you any money. So, but if you can boost it up just to a 20, which is, barely above average, just slightly above average, because the average is 19 and a half, 19.8, something like that is the average. If you can get it up to 20 at most universities, you're going to get a scholarship of probably at least $1,000 a year. And if your grades have been good at school, and I know this chart's probably really hard to see, we'll be glad to send it to you. We'll post it in the resources for this. If your grades have been good in high school, you can get $3,000 or $4,000 in scholarship money, even with just a 20 on your ACT. If you can bump that up a little bit to a 24 or 25, you're going to be getting more money. So I'll just call out 3 or 4 of these. For many universities, and this is one of the things you want to check when you're visiting colleges, get a 20 on your ACT, you're probably going to get $1,000. If you had C grades in school, C plus in school, you're still going to get a scholarship if your ACT is 20. If your grades were B plus, that $1,000 becomes a $3,500 scholarship. And if you're in the A grade, you might be looking at $4,000 or $5,000 a year every year that you're in school, just because of an ACT of 20. If you can boost that ACT up to 24, you're going to pick up another couple, maybe as much as $3,000 more in scholarship. Excuse me. And just as you go across the board, if you have an ACT of 33 or 34, well, my chart here says you're going to get a $6,000 scholarship. But the reality is, if you get up into the 30s, 28, 29, 30, chances are really good that you're going to have a full ride scholarship. You will pay little or no instructional fees, and you might even get some of the room and board fees waived, depending on what activities you're in. So getting an ACT score can really help, and just increasing it. So why take the ACT? Here's 2 important points. Number 1, why should I take it? Are you taking it because you want to get into a particular college and it requires a minimum ACT score? That's one of the reasons you take the ACT and want to do well on it. Another reason to take the ACT and want to do well on it is because I've maybe already been accepted at the university, but I want a scholarship. I need to make college more affordable, and improving your score in the ACT is probably the most time efficient way of improving your chance at a scholarship. And taking the ACT, sometimes if your score is high enough, like around 22, so I'm not talking super high, if your score is around 22 or so, you'll sometimes even be able to skip some of the classes your freshman year. Like instead of basic English, you might be able to go into standard English and save an entire semester of time and money on that. Likewise for math and other areas as well. And ultimately, why are we doing this at all? Because we want to get a good job. And that ACT score, if you choose to reveal it in your resumes and your job applications and so forth, it can be one of the selling points that gets an employer to pick you over someone else. So here's my last slide. Save the big finale of this slide presentation anyway for the end. So how do I score better in the ACT? Answer every question. As we look at data about why students perform poorly on the ACT, those that are getting scores below 18 or 19 or 20, the lower scoring students almost always skip questions. Always answer every question. If you answer it wrong, there's no extra penalty. If you skip it, you know it's going to be wrong. As you're looking for it, usually one of the answers is just totally doesn't make sense. So if you can start crossing out answers as you're taking it, you really improve your chances. And last but not least, in addition to practicing for the ACT, take the ACT again. The second time you take it, if you take it as a junior in high school, if you retake it as a senior, just because you've learned more, even if you haven't studied the ACT specifically at all, just because you've learned more, you're going to do better. And that's a real hint that anybody can do. $100 maybe, if you have to pay for it, something like that. And you're going to get 2 or 3 more points simply because you've had another entire year to learn. And that can really improve your chances of getting into this college you want, getting the career path you want, and saving some money in college, because you're a lot more likely to get a scholarship with those extra 2 or 3 points. So as you may know, I served as a college admission advisor part-time for many years at multiple universities. I worked at 3 different universities in both graduate and undergraduate college admission programs. I'll be glad to share more information with you. You can certainly call us, see the full presentation on ACT, anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours. In the longer sessions, we look into the practice tests. In our previous vlog, if you look that up, you will see where we discuss some of the online resources that will help with ACT and other career test preparation materials. Judy, Tandy, do you guys want to talk a little bit about that, or do you have any questions on, how to do better on the ACT? First off, a little bit of practice, but the really simple, take it again your senior year. Your score will be higher. Almost all universities, even if you've already been accepted, will allow you to resubmit your ACT score and reconsider you for scholarships and degree programs that maybe you were denied the first go round.
Yeah, that's good information, Roger. With the last 3 minutes that we have here, a couple things. I looked up how much the price was. It's $60 with no writing and $85 with writing. And then you can change certain test options that are additional fees, $25. And if you register late, $36 fee, that kind of thing. But also I had said last week that my oldest's school requires them to take it. They have to take it as juniors. All of them do. And that, I think that's great for the experience of taking it. Like you said, the score will improve as the more they take it, because it's an option as sophomores, it's required as juniors. Then of course they take it again as seniors. But as you're working with your state report card, we also know that helps the district.
Absolutely.
And, right. So I'm guessing it's, benefits everybody at his district, that all the kids are taking it and they get all those points towards their state report card. And then also double bonus, the kids get to experience the test in a way to maybe prepare differently the next time, or look up certain topics, maybe get a little help from their teachers in regards to what they messed up on and how to improve that score. It's a very small district, so it helps them individualize and personalize the learning for their students so they can get a better grade on the ACT the next time. And I think that's
I'm glad you mentioned that about the prepared for success on the district report cards. And, without getting into district report cards, I don't think anybody really likes them, but they're a reality and absolutely correct. And I'm really glad you brought that up. And that's why some districts will actually cover the fee for you to retake the ACT. And different districts have different policies on this. Some of them you have to pay for it yourself, but you may take it at the same time the juniors are taking it. So it's a super easy path to actually, having test day. And some schools will just automatically pay the fee if you want to retake it. Some districts will repay the fee if you've shown improvement on your ACT compared to the previous year, which almost everybody does. And again, I can't stress that enough. If your ACT score wasn't that great or was really good, either way, take it again the next year. You're going to do better, and it will help your district score as well when students retake the ACT. So district leaders, teachers that are involved with college-bound students or any students that's looking for a career after graduation, talk with your kids about the advantages of retaking the ACT their senior year. It can really make a difference. In general, we see improvements up to the third retake. After the third retake, it usually levels off. And the biggest gain is between the first ACT and the second.
Yeah, and with Judy's resources that she shared last week, and the vlog will help the students prepare better for that ACT or whatever other test. I mean, I love the SAT. That was my test to shine on. And when I was applying,
and it's a legitimate option, and almost every university, even if they say they require the ACT, they will accept the SAT and vice versa.
Yeah, I did both, but I didn't have a way of practicing, when I took it in the 80s. But yeah, the Learning Express library resource that, and we'll put a link on our resource page. The link that you see on the screen right now will take you to all our vlogs and all of our resources that are connected to those topics, that'll help you do a little bit more research in regards to whatever that topic was. And as always, you can reach out to us via email. Each and every one of our emails is in the credits at the end of this video, and you can ask us any questions in regards to technology integration, not just about the ACT preparation, but any topic that you might be struggling with. And my rule of thumb with my districts, I tell them, if you struggle for more than 5 minutes, email me, and then I'll probably help you with a solution. You don't want to be struggling too long with a solution to integrating technology or using technology when you have so many resources out there that can help you get to it faster without all the discouragement and stress. So, well, thanks a lot, Roger. Awesome information. And of course, it connects to Judy's resources that she shared with us last week. We're going to try to brainstorm another topic as we get off here to see what we can bring you next week that'll help you in your technology integration needs. So thank you. And
Bye.